Seriously, Bushiroad, how lazy you can get with designing Keter cards, because as much as it is nice to see some of the old face returning, you also pull a Among Us move on top of another Among Us move, and it raises a question: why bother with Rosario?
A bold claim.
Why exactly I'm saying it like that? Watch until the end of this video to actually find out, as we're talking about the return of the Knight, King of Knight Alfred. And fortunately enough, there is no right line to talk about, as we can go ahead and talk about Alfred himself. This unit has 3 skills, where during your turn, this unit cannot be boosted, and if your soul has a Blaster Blade, this unit get 2k for each of your rear guards, and if total power gains by the effect is 8k or more, and your opponent's grade 3 or greater, you also get a critical +1. And then act once per turn Energy Blast 3, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or less card with only Royal Paladin for his clan, call it to Record Circle and shuffle your deck. Then choose one of that unit auto ability, reduce the next time you pay the cost for that unit ability by Counter Blast 1 until end of turn. And then auto once per turn, when this unit attack Counter Blast 1, choose one of your record with only Royal Paladin for his clan, stand it. If your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can choose 2 instead of 1. What I really like about this version of Alfred is that it takes the base part from the original with the flexibility of what you can call and the ability to get its own power, while also having some modern sensibility applied to it. And at the same time, you also have a little bit of a V element, where there is an entanglement of Blaster Blade in his skill, and that additional crit is a nice nod to Monarch Alfred from the V era as well. And on top of that, giving cost reduction is a huge deal, especially considering what most of the new Royal Paladin support is for Alfred. The only drawback with Alfred, in my opinion, is simply just the fact that the power ceiling for Alfred is very low, because the maximum you can get is 10k and Persona, right? Which means that it is a lot easier for your opponent to actually guard your Alfred. But of course, being a King of Knights, he doesn't come alone. He needs his retainers and, you know, his knights. And one of his retainer is a unit that you guys might not expect to come in, but I'll explain to it once I review both of the units that this deck actually received, as we have Shining Wing Star Dragon Vyrgilla. This card has 2 skills, where this card also regarded as Soul Saver Dragon, and during your turn, if you have grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Alfred in its card name, this unit get 5k, and if your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it also get additional ability, where when he's into front or Record Circle, at the beginning of your battle phase, you can Counter Blast 1, choose 3 of your unit, they get power plus 5k until end of turn, and if you Persona roll this turn, you can choose all of your unit instead of 3. And then auto on Record Circle, when this unit attacks, if this unit was standby ability of your Vanguard this turn, and a drive check was not performed during the battle your Record attack this turn, you can Soul Blast 1 Alfred, the Kings of Knight Alfred specifically, until end of that battle, increase or decrease this unit drive to 1 and perform drive checks. This card skill is essentially a record version of Soul Saver Dragon, while also having a D sensibility and some element from V as well. Overall, it's a great card, though I have to say the fact that you have to wait for your opponent grade to be at 3 is a little bit insane, but considering the last card I'm going to be talking about today, it is perfectly okay.
Why?
As we have a Starry Sky Knight Sero. Yes, the same Sero that is the Vyrgilla partner. This unit has total of 4 skills, where constant, this is also treated as Knight of Silent Scarletin. And then if you have Vanguard with only Royal Paladin for his clan, this can be bait with Energy Blast 3. When this unit is placed on Record Circle, if you do not have a record with the same card name as this unit, you can Counter Blast 1 and draw a card. And then when this unit attack a grade 3 or greater unit, this unit get power plus 5k until end of that battle. If you have 4 more unit, it get 10k instead of 5. And last but not least, skill once per turn, when this unit attack, if you have a Vanguard with Royal Paladin for his clan and you Persona roll this turn, and this unit stand by your Vanguard ability this turn, Counter Blast 1, and your opponent cannot activate auto ability of their cards until end of that battle.
Am I a joke to you?
Okay, so before we get to the card effect itself, the reason why Sero and Vyrgilla are Royal Paladin this time round, if I remember correctly, is
Because
one of the episodes in the Skyride where IG is technically canon in this universe,
and
they fought together. So that was kind of like a representative of Sero and IG joining hands together, and that's why these 2 units exist. But enough of the reference, let's talk about this card skill, as there are 2 very disgusting aspects aspect about this card. The first thing first is, of course, that last skill. Like every other skill is pretty good. The fact that it is able to shut down all types of auto skill is generally just disgusting and easily even better than Blankmire Divine skill. In case you guys are not clear on what they're trying to say here, any skill that gains additional shield as an auto ability, PGs, Blitz orders, and cards like Hostage Set Order cannot be activated when this card is attacking and you manage to fulfill all the conditions for that last skill. That is how strong this card actually is. And imagine if you can pump all the triggers into this unit. Oh boy, it's gonna be very annoying to guard because the only way for you to guard this is to hard guard. So yeah, running Red OT with this will be very fun in the worst way possible. But I feel the more disgusting part, at least in my opinion, or at least a slap in the face to some of the players who start in Divines, and this applies to the Vyrgilla as well, is the fact that this felt like a slap in the face to Rosaya. If you look at the way Vyrgilla and Sero's skill is being phrased, it is very similar to the Bird Mythish and Gabelius. That is how similar the job of the Royal Paladin Vyrgilla and Sero actually compared to those two units, which kind of make you wondering, is this intentional? As we all know, recently Rosaya just got hit by a bad list, so this is a way for Bourgeois to say, just skip up the angel, go back to the nostalgia. No one knows.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
But is the deck actually any good? Well, considering the support that we have at the time of recording, I would say yes. I mean, Alfred himself facilitated almost everything that the deck needed, with additional crit, ability to superior call your board once per turn, and ability to restand those rare cards that use superior call. And on top of that, you do have very powerful toolbox like Sero, which is a game ender, Vyrgilla, which buff the whole board and also give you additional drive, Blaster Blade for retire, and something that I think a lot of people forgot, Bedivia and for essentially quick superior call column in the earlier part of the game. So yes, there is enough Royal Paladin units to go around for the deck to actually perform, and those units also take advantage of what utility Alfred gives to them really well. The problem with Alfred kind of boils down to two things. First, you have one dead rare card circle, and that is the center back row because Alfred cannot boost. Luckily enough, there are some cards that can kind of help you to take advantage of that, but it is limited, and I'm pretty sure this card gonna be very hard to find. Secondly, this card heavily focused on Royal Paladin, so if you are not able to have a Royal Paladin unit in the front row, you definitely will struggle a little bit because you cannot go into 5 attack that you wanted it to be. And last but not least, and that is the resource management. This deck uses a lot of counterblast. All the cards I have mentioned so far in this part of the video use some form of counterblast, so managing it poorly will be your downfall. And let's be real here, if Lancelot is coming out as a new support for Alfred, I can tell you it's gonna be a back row attacker. But what do you guys think? Do you think Alfred is actually a really good nostalgia hit, or is it a nostalgia miss? Do leave down in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Take care of yourself, don't forget to clap that sub and become a member for some cool perks. This is Mac Megane signing out.